Hello and welcome to Narayana Eyes. I'm Pratik, your faculty for daily news analysis. Friends, let's start today's DNA with a beautiful motivational quote. And what is the quote? The quote is great things take time, which means in order to achieve greater things, you need to be patient, you need to show perseverance. For example, UPSC is a marathon race. Just by being consistent for a month or days or few months is not going to help you to ace the examination. Because great things, UPSC, to be an IS officer, IPS officer, right, it takes, because with great power comes great responsibility. Because once you be an IS or IPS officer, you'll be in charge of the entire district, and as you go up the hierarchy, you have to make policies for the entire country. You have to take control of the entire state, district, country. And to get that power, to get that position, it takes time, it takes perseverance, it takes patience. So if you want to clear the UPSC examination, try to be patient, try to be consistent, because only by being patient, by perseverance, by focusing on your goal, you will achieve great thing, that is to be an IAS or IPS, or let's say foreign service officer. On this note, let us start today's DNA. So in today's DNA, we shall be focusing on 5 most important topics from the Hindu newspaper. So which are these 5 topics that we shall be discussing today? The first topic talks about the efforts of India to ensure that both male as well as female take up the responsibility of contraception. Right? So what are the stereotypes in our country? What are the socio-cultural norms that is preventing India from achieving gender equality? All these dimensions we shall be discussing in the first topic. The second topic talks about modernizing the seed industry in our country, the seeds which we use in the agriculture. So the scientists and experts are pushing the Indian government to modernize the seed industry in our country. This is the second topic that we shall be discussing, and it is taken from Hindu page number 12. The third article talks about the Indian National Ocean Information Service. So this is a center that provides information or data about the ocean, or the information about the ocean, right? And how the information from this center helps the government or people, let's say, to frame policies or take preventive steps is something that we shall be discussing in the third topic. In the fourth topic, we shall be understanding about International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA. Now, this is a United Nations nuclear watchdog. It observed that Iran is enriching uranium, right? So, we'll understand what is this enrichment of uranium, and we'll understand about this body called International Atomic Energy Agency. And finally, in the fifth topic, which is taken from Hindu page number 8, we shall be discussing about One Nation, One Subscription. What exactly is this particular scheme and how this will help the students in publicly funded education institutions to get access to the research papers in the world. So these are the 5 topics that we shall be discussing, followed by a few questions, right? It's time to start the first topic. What is the title of the first topic? Indians need to share contraceptive responsibility, right? This is the first topic. Now, the relevance of this topic for UPSC examination is to understand how India is making efforts, or what are the challenges to achieve gender equality. What issues India is facing to achieve gender equality. So this topic is important for your, essay paper as well as GS2 paper. In GS2 paper, we have this important aspects of governance, and we also have another subtopic, that is issues relating to development and management of services or sectors like health, right? So you can map this particular topic under GS paper 2, as well as you can use this topic for essay. Now, a previous year question was asked in the year 2019, and what is the question? The question is, empowering women is the key to control the population growth. Now, India is in the process to control the increasing population. So, if we want to restrict the population growth, then it is very, very important that we empower the women of our country, right? So, such type of questions can be asked in the examination, and that's the reason holistic understanding of topics such as this is important for your UPSC examination. Now, what is the context? Now, if you see in our country, family planning is primarily the responsibility of the female person. It is not considered to be the responsibility of the male or a man. Now, here the author of the article discusses that when it comes to sterilization, right? When it comes to sterilization. Now, sterilization can be of male as well as female. So, what is sterilization? Now, sterilization is a medical procedure. It is a medical procedure through which a person cannot conceive, that is, cannot have children permanently. Which means, let's say, once a female person has, let's say, 1 or 2 children, she can opt for sterilization, that is, female sterilization, through which she cannot have babies in future. Right? So, sterilization, both male as well as female sterilization. Now, as of now, in our country, right, this sterilization process or procedure is undertaken by the female, that is, by the women. Why? Because it is considered or assumed that the family planning is the responsibility of the women. So, of all the sterilization, majority of the sterilization that we have, experienced or seen in our country is that of, or is from the women, which means the participation of the male or men to control population is less. And this is what we need to change if we want to make our country gender equal, or if we want to achieve gender equality. This is the context. The context is how to increase the participation of the men in controlling the population. This is the context. I hope you understood the context. I hope you understood what you mean by sterilization. Now, historical context of family planning and contraceptive methods, right? So, if I talk about family planning, see, family planning program was launched in the 50s. For example, in the 50s, we had National Family Program, right? The 50s, we had, to be precise, in the year 1952. 1952, we introduced National Family Program. What was the purpose of this program? To control the population growth. Why? Because increasing population was considered as a barrier to economic progress. That's the reason the government, right, realized that it is important to control the population, and so the government launched National Family Program in the 50s. Right? And if you see, the focus of sterilization or the focus of controlling the population rested on the shoulders of the female, which means the focus was on female sterilization, female female sterilization, right? And the sterilization was done either through the contraceptive pills, or we had this intrauterine device, IUDs. So these were the contraceptive methods that the female were using and they still use. So the point is, the burden rested on the shoulders of the women. Now, as we discussed, it is important to understand why the responsibility lied on the shoulders of women. Because if you see, our society is a patriarchal society. Certain jobs are assigned to the men and women. Now, when it comes to family planning, the responsibility rested on the shoulders of women, right? Now, if you see, this focus on women is evident from the fact that government in the 50s used to give financial incentives to whom? To women, to undergo sterilization process or procedure. Which means government of the day also believed back then that this sterilization is the primary duty of the women. That's the reason the government gave financial incentives to women. Right? Now, the question is, was male sterilization available back then? Male? The question is, was male sterilization? Now, male sterilization is also known as vasectomy. What? Vasectomy. So, male sterilization is referred as vasectomy. So, the point is, male sterilization was also available. That is, vasectomy was also available back then, but it was considered as secondary choice. The focus was given on female sterilization. Why? Because of the societal norms or the cultural norms. Right? But the fact of the matter is, despite government's focus on sterilization or to control the population, things did not change. Right? Despite the fact that government focused on female sterilization over male sterilization, the things did not change. Which means the population kept on growing. The government realized that the policy that the government of India framed was not working to control the population. And that's the reason now the government started to focus on both male sterilization as well as female sterilization. Post the investigation, post these studies done by various research institutions, the government realized that if we are to control the population, the government has to focus on both male sterilization as well as female sterilization. Now, let us try to understand the current trends in the contraceptive decision making. Now, the National Family Health Survey report. The National Family Health Survey report. This report indicates that there's a dominance of female sterilization. Why? Because of all the sterilizations that happen in our country, 38 percentage or the female sterilization contributes to 38%, the female sterilization. And the contribution of male sterilization is only 0.3%. This is the gender disparity that we get to see in our country. Which means only 0.3% men, they undergo male sterilization. 38% sterilization, or the female sterilization contributes to 38%. Now, in the year 2017, that is National Family Health Survey 2017 report had kept a target to increase the participation of male to 30%. But unfortunately, despite keeping a target of 30% for male sterilization, right, the male sterilization number or percentage remains stagnant. So this is the data, and you need to mention this particular report or the data in the examination in case a question comes from this particular topic. This is the trend that's going in our country. Now, let's try to understand the societal perception that that is a part of our country, or the perception or what impressions do people hold with respect to sterilization. First and foremost, as I discussed in the context, right, when it comes to the societal perception, people believe that when it comes to sterilization, it is the responsibility of the women and not men. Why? Because if the responsibility shifted to men, then they might lose their daily wage. For example, in a country, almost 80% people are involved in informal sector, right? So if men have to undergo this procedure, they might lose their daily wage, which is not good for their family. And women think that as men contribute to economic growth of the family, or they bring money in the family, their responsibility should, or their responsibility lies outside the house. Their primary responsibility is to run the family, to look after the family. Even women are under this belief that when it comes to sterilization, it is the primary responsibility of the women. This is the reason why we do not see the participation of men going up. The second is lack of awareness and cultural norms. Now, there's a misinformation with respect to male sterilization or vasectomy, right? Misinformation about male sterilization or vasectomy. And what is that? Lack of awareness or misinformation. Men feel that undergoing male sterilization might affect or might lead to impotency or decrease in libido, or it might affect their sexual performance. Now these are the myths the people of a country have with respect to vasectomy. That's the reason they fear that this might affect their masculinity. The men of our country feel that undergoing vasectomy would be an infringement to their masculinity. At the same time, cultural norms. The cultural outlook of our country, as we discussed, even the women, they believe that it is the responsibility of the women and not the responsibility of the men. So these are some of the perceptions people have. That's the reason the percentage of male sterilization is at a decimal 0.3% in our country. Right? Now, if the situation has to change, then we need to focus on education. More than literacy, we need to focus on education. What is literacy? The ability to read and learn. But education is having the overall understanding of what to do, what not to do, your moral responsibilities, etc. So, the focus has to be on community programs, right? School programs, community programs, school and community programs. The experts of the field have to debunk this myth that vasectomy has got nothing to do with masculinity. It won't affect your sexual performance. So awareness campaign is very, very important. Education, yes, very important. Then conditional cash incentives. Now, the states of Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh, the governments of these states introduced financial incentives to men. Post giving financial incentives to men, what these states saw is that the number of male, participation in contraception decision making increased. It tells that if the policy is framed in such a way that incentivizes the men to undergo male sterilization, then they will definitely undergo male sterilization. Because as I told you, like 80% of our country or people work in the informal sector. For them, earning daily wage is very, very important. So if the government is taking care of their daily wage, then the men will also undergo male sterilization. Training healthcare providers. Now, the consciousness or awareness with respect to male sterilization is very, very low in rural areas. Of course, in the urban areas, it is also very low. But if you have to compare urban and rural, comparatively, the awareness with respect to male sterilization is high in urban areas. Comparatively, in both urban as well as rural, it is less. But if I talk about rural area, there is no awareness. There's no information. That's the reason it is very important to focus on the primary health centers, and the healthcare professionals in the primary or secondary healthcare sectors at the rural areas, which means the primary healthcare centers or the doctors working in these hospitals should be equipped with infrastructure, with the procedure through which they can also undergo male sterilization, or they can also help other people to undergo male sterilization. So, training healthcare providers, professionals is very, very important. The next, public awareness campaigns. Yes, mass media campaign is very, very important. For example, countries like Brazil, right, South Korea. Now, these are few examples that you need to mention. Brazil, South Korea, also Bhutan. These countries observe that if the mass media focuses on creating awareness around male sterilization, then the men will become more and more aware with respect to male sterilization. We can use celebrities, for example, Akshay Kumar, Amitabh Bachchan. They are the people or actors who often use social message on social media, or let's say on the uh, electronic media. So, the focus has to be on mass media communication, mass media awareness, wherein we can rope in celebrities to disseminate information or debunking myth with respect to male sterilization. And these are the countries that have proved that by focusing on mass media. For example, we have social media, print media, electronic media, TV media. Through this, government can definitely disseminate information, awareness with respect to male sterilization program. Now, policy implementation is very, very important. For example, the National Family Health Surveys 2017 survey, it set a target of 30%. We discussed, but unfortunately, we fell short of this target by a huge margin. That's the reason we need a holistic approach. That should focus on both demand and supply barrier. Now, what is the supply barrier? Healthcare professionals, infrastructure. So, training healthcare professionals, providing required infrastructure is very important. Then demand barrier, for example, socio-cultural norms. These are some of the barriers that we have to change through mass campaigns, through education programs. So, a holistic approach is required wherein people should not fear, especially men should not fear to undergo male sterilization. And there should be an awareness, consciousness among both men and women that it is absolutely safe. Men feel that this is a very risky procedure or risky medical procedure that might affect their masculinity. But important to understand is that it is absolutely safe to undergo male sterilization. Right? So, all in all, all in all, if we are to achieve gender equality, Sustainable Development Goal SDG goal number 5, which calls for gender equality and empowerment of women. So, if we are to achieve gender equality SDG goal number 5, then India has to focus on policy. India has to reframe its policy through which India should focus on a holistic approach through which awareness, information is available both at the urban and rural areas, through which the government officials, the public celebrities, the healthcare professionals should encourage the men to also undergo male sterilization, through which we can control the population and help our country reach or achieve economic progress. I hope you understood the first topic, right? This is the second topic that we shall be discussing. What is the title? The title is Scientists Industry Demand Passage of New Seeds Bill Changes in Policy. So in this article, we shall be focusing on the seed sector or seed industry of our country, which is very important in the agriculture sector. Now this topic is important both for prelims as well as mains, but more so for mains, right? So you may map this topic under GS paper 2 as well as GS paper 3. When it comes to GS paper 2, we have a subtopic in the name, important aspects of governance or transparency. So you may map this topic under GS paper 2. With respect to GS paper 3, you can map this topic under Indian economy and planning. Also, technology in the aid or in the help of farmers. So this is how you can map this topic under GS paper 2 as well as GS paper 3. Now this was a question asked in the year 2015. Which one of the following best describes the main objective of seed village concept? Right? So whenever you come across such topics in the newspaper, or whenever we focus on such topics in the D&E, make sure a topic which is relatively new, you should definitely focus on such topics, because UPSC definitely asks questions on such topics, right? So this is a live example in front of you that a question was asked on seed village concept and what is the objective of this concept. These are the four options. Let us try to understand the context. Now, the context is that the experts, scientists of our country, or the stakeholders of the seed industry, they came together as part of National Seed Congress. What is Congress? It's a place where people meet, right? Now, in this Congress meet, the experts and scientists have pushed the government to modernize. They pushed the government to modernize the seed bill of 2004 and seed policy of 2002, which means they want to modernize the seed industry or seed sector. Why? What is the purpose? So as to, what is the objective? To enhance the quality, to enhance the quality of seeds, That is, by enhancing the quality of seeds, they can also increase the production. At the same time, the scientists, they push the government to leverage technology in the field of seeds industry or seed sector. Why? When you have good quality of seeds, it will help the farmers to increase the productivity. This is the context. What is the problems in the seed sector? The problem is that the current rules and laws that regulate the seed industry of our country are outdated, which means as of now we are following the Seeds Act of 1968 and 66 and the seed rules of 1968. These are the outdated laws practices that we are following, which means these outdated laws are not meeting the current global standards. In the year 2004, we tried to pass a bill, but unfortunately the bill could not get passed, which means as of now we are following these acts, these laws to regulate the production and ensure the quality of seeds in our country, right? Now the certification, the seeds are also certified. Now the certification system or standard certifying the seeds of a country is also very weak. The certification system is also very weak. Because of a weak certification system, it is affecting the quality, of seeds. And as the seeds of a country are compromised, it is affecting India's global competitiveness edge in the agriculture sector. This is another challenge. The certification system is very weak. The first, we are following very old laws, right? These old laws are not meeting the current challenges in the seed industry or seed sector. Then unclear definition. Now there is a confusion between farmer seeds and commercial seeds. Now farmer seeds are those seeds that the farmers save and reuse as seeds, and commercial seeds are the seeds that are supplied or distributed by the commercials, that is by companies, right? And that's the reason, as there is a confusion between the types of seeds, it is very difficult to regulate the seeds of a country, which means the certification becomes a big problem. This is another challenge. Now the question is, why the seeds bill need to be revised? First, adapting to modern agriculture methods. What is the point? Adapting to modern agriculture needs. For example, you must have come across the seeds that are genetically modified. You must have heard BT, brinjal, cotton, which means these are the seeds that are grown or produced with the help of technology. That is, genes are injected through which we grow crops. This is the technology. Or with the help of biotechnology, we are developing new variety of seeds to enhance the productivity in agriculture, which means the regulation, we need a new law so as to address these modern and new challenges in the seed sector. At the same time, the concerns of the farmers are usually not addressed in our country. The author of the article tries to suggest that whenever the government frames a bill or government, introspects or envisages to introduce a bill, it is very important to consult the different stakeholders. For example, we have the farmers cooperatives, we have the farmers, then we have the commercial stakeholders, the companies. It is very important for the government to get the feedback from all the stakeholders of the seed industry, right? Now experts, they suggest that adopting full-fledged technology will harm the interests of the farmers. That's the reason the experts suggest that we have to balance innovation and farmers needs, which means we cannot miss out on technology, right? But the given half of our population is engaged in agriculture, we cannot adopt technology full-fledged. We have to focus on technology, but at the same time we also need to take into consideration the concerns of the farmers, which means the point is that the farmers should be in a position to afford high quality seeds, right? Innovation is important to produce high quality seeds, but the point is farmers should be in a position to access high quality seeds. And then there has to be massive public private collaboration. Now this public private collaboration will help the seed industry. For example, the government can focus on research. Through research we can develop high quality seeds, and then the companies will take this high quality seeds to the farmers. That's the reason we need more and more private public collaboration. Now, why we need to update the seed policy is simple: to meet the global standard. What do you mean by meeting the global standard? Which means to make the Indian agriculture competitive in the world, in the agriculture world industry. We have to make sure that we have to update the seeds policy so as to ensure that the farmers are in a position to access affordable seeds through which they can enhance the productivity of agriculture. Now, enhancing the productivity of agriculture will help our country meet the domestic needs, as well as it will help our country to export the excess food grains to the outside world, right? And through this we can help our farmers to double their income as promised by the current dispensation or current government, which means all in all, it is high time for the government to update the Seed Act of 1968 so as to leverage technology, help the farmers to get high quality seeds to enhance the productivity. This is the second topic. I hope you understood the second topic. Now, the third topic. What is the third topic? INCOIS. The title of the third topic is INCOIS wins award for its search and rescue aid. So in this article, we'll understand what is this INCOIS and what is this SARAT technology or software. Again, this you can map under GS paper 3, you can map under environment and ecology, also you can map under science and technology under GS paper 3. Now this topic is important move for prelims. Now this was a question asked with reference to Bombay Natural History Society, which means a question with respect to society, a question with respect to organization, a question with respect to an important center, a question with respect to important international or regional organization can be asked in the UPSC examination, right? Now, what is the context that this is a center? We'll discuss what is the center. This center has achieved an award. What is the award? Not important for your examination. The name of the award is not important for the examination, but what is INCOIS is important for the UPSC examination. What is INCOIS? First and foremost, INCOIS stands for Indian National Center for Ocean Information Services. The name itself suggests that this is a center or a body that has the responsibility to collect the information or data from the ocean. This INCOIS was established in the year 1999 under the aegis or control of Ministry of Earth and Sciences, right? Yes. So, very important fact for your prelims, 1999 under Ministry of Earth Sciences. Location headquarter is located in Hyderabad. Now, INCOIS is part of the Earth System Science Organization, ESSO. So, INCOIS is a part of ESSO, and this is a part of Ministry of Earth Sciences, which means we have Ministry of Earth Science, then we have ESSO, and then we have this INCOIS. ESSO is the executive arm of Ministry of Earth Sciences, which means the policies that this ministry frames, this body executes these policies. It is the executive arm of this particular ministry. And what is the mandate of this INCOIS? The mandate of this INCOIS is to provide important information to provide ocean information, which means the mandate is to collect the ocean data. Once you collect the ocean data about the ocean currents, winds, right? You collect the ocean data, you research on that data, and once you research, the researched conclusion, you provide it to the government and the businesses as well as to the people. For example, if there are strong currents, then this information is provided to the people who live along the coast so that they can take preventive steps to ensure their places or their objects or people are not harmed during, let's say, cyclone or during high tide, which means to provide ocean information is their mandate. Now, under this INCOIS, there are many services, out of which these are few services. For example, we have ocean information systems, which provides real-time and predictive oceanographic data. For example, data with respect to sea surface temperature, salinity, currents, etc. Then we have coastal and marine services, tsunami early warning center, and there are also other services, right, which you can read in the DNA notes, right? This is self-explanatory. So you can, in the comment box, you can see the link to our website. Please open the link. The link will take you to the DNA notes page, wherein you can read or understand the different types of services falling under INCOIS. But what is INCOIS? It is important to understand that the mandate of INCOIS is to provide the ocean information, ocean data to the government or to the people. And there are many services which you can read from the DNA notes. So headquarters, ministry, year of establishment, headquarters, all these points are important for your prelims examination, right? And then we have this search and rescue aid tool. This is a software developed by INCOIS. What is the purpose? The purpose is to track lost people and objects. So for example, let's say during tsunami or let's say during high currents, high tide, cyclones, right? The objects go missing, people go missing, right? So this, this software is developed so as to track the missing people and objects. And this technology uses real-time data. For example, the surface winds, the ocean currents. This data is captured, is fed into the system so as to track the missing people and objects, right? So this is a mobile app through which people can, or the authorities can track the missing people and objects. This is the third topic. Now the fourth topic. What is the fourth topic? Iran to enrich uranium with advanced centrifuges, says International Atomic Energy Agency. Now, under this, we'll understand about this particular body and what exactly is uranium enrichment. So, this topic is important for GS paper 3 as well as 2. Under 3, we have this energy sector in GS paper 3. Under 2, we have international institutions, right? So, you can map under GS paper 2 as well as GS paper 3, right? Now, this is a question asked in the year 2011 with respect to growing energy demand, and then we have few elements like thorium, uranium, right? So, questions are asked on the features of thorium and uranium. And given this topic also include uranium or many other elements, it is important to understand what exactly is uranium and what exactly is uranium enrichment. What is the context? Context is that International Atomic Energy Agency. What is it? It's a United Nations nuclear watchdog. It's a United Nations nuclear watchdog. This body reported or observed that Iran is enriching uranium. This is what this body observed, right? We'll understand this part first and then we'll understand this part first. This is the context. Now we'll understand both these dimensions. Now, first and foremost, International Atomic Energy Agency. It's a body under United Nations. First and foremost for your prelims, it's a body under United Nations. Second, it is also referred as for peace and development. Second point for your prelims, it is also referred as atoms for peace and development. One point, second point, third point, it is a central forum. It is a central forum for global cooperation on nuclear science and technology, which means it is a forum, it is a platform wherein the countries cooperate with respect to the science around nuclear energy or nuclear technology, right? So, how the nuclear technology can be developed further, this is a platform which helps countries to cooperate, participate to help in the development of nuclear technology, right? And the headquarters of this particular body is in Vienna. Where is Vienna? It's your homework. Please mention in the comment box where is Vienna located, right? Next, fifth, it promotes peaceful use of nuclear technology. What? It promotes peaceful use of nuclear technology, which means it ensures that all the nuclear activities are peaceful, which means that the nuclear activities, right, all the nuclear activities happening in the world is for peaceful purpose. What is the peaceful purpose? To generate electricity. This is the peaceful purpose. And what is the harmful purpose? To make nuclear weapons, right? So it ensures that all the countries are abiding by the guidelines of this body, that is, they ensure the nuclear technology is used to make nuclear energy, that is, to generate nuclear electricity, and not to make nuclear weapons, right? It also implements Nuclear Proliferation Treaty, NPT. So this treaty came into being under the aegis of this body. Nuclear Proliferation Treaty. What does treaty say? That the countries cannot proliferate or increase their nuclear arsenal, which means they cannot. In short, this treaty says that apart from 5 countries, no other country can make nuclear weapons. And which are these 5 countries? P5 countries: US, UK, France, Russia, and China. Only the 5 countries can, have nuclear weapons. The other countries cannot have nuclear weapons. Now, India, Pakistan, right, South Korea, Israel are not part of NPT. They say that NPT is discriminatory and so we won't be a part of NPT. In short, basically, India says that NPT is discriminatory. The mandate of NPT, which means this body implements NPT, which means it ensures that no country is making nuclear weapons. I hope you understood about this particular body for your prelims UPSC examination. Now let us try to understand the second part. What is nuclear energy? Nuclear energy is a type of energy, right? Nuclear energy is a type of energy that is produced with the help of nuclear reaction. So it's a type of energy that is generated using nuclear reaction. Now, nuclear reaction are of two types. One is nuclear fission and the second one is nuclear fusion. So energy is made because of nuclear reaction. Reaction are of two types: fusion and fission. Now, both this fission and fusion, these are the process through which you generate nuclear energy. What is fusion? Wherein the nucleus of two different atoms are fusing to generate electricity or to generate energy. So fusion, the nucleus of two atoms are fusing. The nucleus of two atoms, let's say uranium, are fusing to generate energy. Fission, the nucleus is getting split. This is known as nuclear fission. So a nucleus gets split and generates energy. This is known as fission. So fission, split, fusion, it fuses. And through the process of fission and fusion, we generate energy. Now using this energy, either you can make electricity, generate electricity, or make nuclear weapons. This is known as nuclear energy. Now, it doesn't mean that you can use any atom or element to make nuclear energy. No. For example, uranium is an element that we use to make nuclear energy. But the naturally occurring uranium in the world has only 0.7 percentage content through which you can make, or part through which you can make nuclear energy. 99 percentage of uranium is useless. Just one, that is 0.7 percentage, is important. For example, we have these are referred to as isotopes. For example, we have two isotopes of uranium. One is uranium-238 and 235. Uranium-235 is fissile, which means it can undergo nuclear reaction and produce energy. This is of no use. That's the reason uranium-238 separated from 235, or we enrich this uranium-235. The more and more you enrich uranium-235, you will be in a process to generate energy. So this uranium 235 is important to generate energy. For example, as I told you, natural uranium contains only 0.7% uranium 235 isotope. This is important for, for nuclear reaction. The moment you enrich this uranium from 0.7% to 5%, you will be in a position to generate electricity in the nuclear power plant. But if you enrich uranium 0.7% to 90%, then you develop nuclear weapons. So the question is, to what extent you are enriching uranium 235? This is uranium 235, which means you are in a position to make nuclear weapons, or you have nuclear weapons. Now, there's always a tussle between Iran and the Western countries. Now, in the West Asian part, in the West Asian region, we have Israel, Iran, and Saudi Arabia. These are the three countries: Israel, Iran, Saudi Arabia. All these three countries do not get along with each other. This is a Shia based country, Sunni based country, and this is a non-Muslim country. All the countries have a problem with Iran. Saudi Arabia and Israel, they are backed by the Western countries, USA. This country is not backed by the Western country. They have a problem with the Western countries. In order to secure their country, they started to make nuclear weapons. And as this country started to make nuclear weapons, this and this country got frightened. So they spoke, they telephoned America. America got in consultation, they had a word with Iran, and finally, during Obama's tenure, they signed Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, JCPOA. This is before 2016. Then in 2016, Trump came. Israel telephoned America and said that Iran is still enriching uranium 235. Trump thought that this deal is stupid deal, and so it cancelled this deal. Said we do not believe in this JCPOA. Why? Because Iran is enriching uranium 235. And Iran said, if you are cancelling this particular deal, even we'll start enriching uranium 235. Now, there's always a fear that if Iran enriches or makes nuclear weapons, when this country will make nuclear weapon, when this country will make, and this country has nuclear weapon. So, if all the countries start making nuclear weapons, the entire region, there will be a nuclear weapons race. This region will be prone to nuclear conflict. And that's the reason the world, or for that matter, United Nations, makes sure that there is no proliferation of nuclear arsenal in the region. Recently, International Atomic Energy Agency, this body, recently reported that Iran is only enriching uranium 235 to 5%. Once the JCPOA got abandoned, or Americans withdrew, right? Iran at one point had enriched uranium 235 to 60%. They were close to make nuclear weapons. But now Iran has enriched uranium 235 to only 5%, sufficient to generate electricity. The question is why? Because the entire West Asian region is in turmoil, is in disturbance. So, given the change in government in America, right, Iran wants to give an impression that Iran is not in a position, or for that matter, Iran is not interested for regional war or global war. So they want to change their international image that Iran is a country that seeks peace and not is a troublemaker. And that is the reason they have taken this strategic pause. Why? Because the country is battered because of economic sanctions. The Western countries have imposed economic sanctions, and so Iran, or the economic situation of Iran, is pretty bad. And so Iran wants to change their international image and wants to, give an impression that they are a country that seeks peace. And the reason why they stopped enriching the uranium more than 5% is so that the Western countries should remove the economic sanctions, so that the countries can trade with Iran and the economic condition of Iran can be back to normal or stable. This is the reason why Iran has made a decision to reduce uranium enrichment. This is the fourth topic. I hope you understood the fourth topic. Fifth topic talks about one nation, one subscription scheme, right? Now, what is the context? What is one nation, one subscription? Let me just make you understand the concept of one nation, one election. You need to understand what is this concept, because UPSC may ask a question. One nation, one subscription, recently seen in news, is associated with which of the following, let's say, objectives? So, one nation, one subscription is a scheme through which the students of publicly funded education institutions, or the people of a country, can get access to research papers, right? So, one nation, one election is a scheme that envisages access to research papers of global importance. See, what happens is, let's say for example, I am a scholar, I do research and then I publish my paper, which means I submit my research paper to a publisher. Now, if common people have to access my research paper, then they have to pay a subscription to the researcher or to the publisher. Let's say there are 100 research scholars and there are 5 publishers. So these 5 publishers, or each of these publisher, have access to the research papers of these 100 scholars. Now, in order to access these research papers, you need to take the subscription from the publishers. For example, let's say we have Amazon, Netflix, Hotstar, right? We have to take this subscription from all these different OTT platforms, right? Then we have Z5. These are different channels or OTT platforms. Similarly, we have different publishers. Now, let's say for example, I want to watch a series on Netflix. I need to buy Netflix subscription. Let's say I need to watch a Amazon Prime video. I need to buy that subscription, which means I have to buy subscription of every OTT. Similarly, I need to take this subscription of every publisher, which is very, very costly. Which means a scholar of a country cannot access the research paper. Why? Because he has to take this subscription. Or let's say for example, the public education institutions of a country, the institutions that are falling short of funds, even they cannot buy the subscription. Why? Because they are falling short of funds, and these subscriptions are very, very costly. And that's the reason the government has come to the rescue. The government has approved this one nation, one subscription scheme, through which the government will buy the subscription from these publishers. So government has committed to spend 6,000 crore for the next 3 years. Through this money, the government will buy subscription from all the important publishers. Now, this subscription, the government will give it to the public education institutions, that is public funded education institutions. For example, we have the IITs, we have the IIMs, right? The government is spending money and is giving the subscription to the publicly funded institutions. which means now these institutions have to pay only one time subscription. They do not have to buy 10 subscriptions. Let's imagine a situation wherein you have to buy only one subscription to have access to Prime, Hotstar, Netflix, Z55, Z5, Sony Live. For example, if we buy this Geo Dish TV or Geo set-top box, you get access to Amazon Prime, you get access to Hotstar, you get access to Geo Cinema. Imagine a situation wherein upon buying a subscription of one OTT, you get the access to all the OTTs. Similarly, the government will buy the subscription of the major publishers and will give it to the public funded education institutions. These public funded education institutions will buy the subscription. It's a one time investment from the government, which means with less money, the public funded education institutions will help the scholars and students so that the students and scholars can get the access to the research papers. Government financial support 6,000 crores. The focus is only on publicly funded institutions. I hope you understood the entire story. And the objective is the research papers will be now affordable, which means a scholar or let's say a student studying in public funded education institution can access the research papers. There will be increased access to scholarly content. You just have to buy one subscription, that's it. So these are the 5 topics of today's DNA. I hope you have understood each and every topic. In case you haven't understood any topic or any part of any topic, I request you to please ask your question in the comment box. In order to revise the 5 topics that we have discussed, I request you to open the link in the comment box, and that link will take you to the DNA notes page wherein you can read all the 5 topics. Let us discuss few questions now. Today, we have 2 mains question and 2 prelims question. We'll discuss mains question, but prelims question, I want you to attempt the question on our website. What is the question? Discuss the strategies required to promote shared responsibility in contraceptive use between men and women in India. In this context, evaluate the role of government policies, societal perceptions, and healthcare infrastructure in increasing male participation in family planning. Very simple question. The detailed answer is in the daily notes. So, in the introduction, you write about the general observation that the family planning rests on the shoulder of the women because of these socio-cultural norms. Then, in the body, you highlight the national health policies, or first you highlight the social perceptions, how there's a misconception surrounding the male sterilization, that is vasectomy, and you first focus on the misinformation, then you focus on the government policies or the policies which is not helping to restructure the policy, right? Mention National Family Health Survey, mention few data of National Health Family Survey, and then finally in the body or in the conclusion you can mention that we have to invest sufficiently in the healthcare infrastructure, that is by training the health professionals. You have to mention that the healthcare professionals should be equipped to ensure that they are in a position to sterilize men, right? At the same time, there is infrastructure available, awareness campaigns, very important, educational campaigns, mass media campaigns. So this is how you frame the answer. Second question, examine the need for revising India's seed bill and seed policy in light of current challenges and technological advancement in the seed sector. Discuss the implications for farmers and the seed industry. Again, in the introduction, you talk about the challenges in the seed industry, right? How the current policies are not in tune with the current challenges. Then in the body, highlight the challenges faced by the seed sector, right? We are following outdated practices. It is not in tune with the modern agriculture practices, right? Then mention why it is important to reframe or revise the seed policy, right? How it is important to engage with all the stakeholders, how it is very important to ensure that the seed quality is of high quality, and most importantly the farmers should also be in a position to access the high quality seeds so that we enhance the agriculture productivity, ensuring that India's global competitiveness in the agriculture sector is growing. Through this, we can meet both the domestic demand as also we can export the excess food grains. The detailed answer you can read in the DNA notes, the link which is mentioned in the comment box. Now these are the third and fourth questions, right? I want you to read the question. Please open the website. I am not going to discuss the answer today. I am just going to, these are the questions available in front of you. Open the website, attempt the question and post your score in the comment box. Let us see how many of you get the maximum score. How many of you get all the questions correct, right? So please ensure that you are opening the website and attempting the questions. The discussion or the description of this answer will be provided tomorrow, or let's say tomorrow is Sunday, on so Monday, right? On Monday, one of our faculty would be discussing the description of these two questions. And that's the end of DNA. We have a very interesting news for all of you. On the 10th of December, that is at 10:30 a.m., Narayana IS has brought before you a very, very interesting conversation by a bureaucrat. Dr. Jay Prakash Narayan will be delivering a insightful conversation, insightful lecture on freedom, equality and justice. What do you mean by, or what it means? How it is important to have freedom, equality and how it is important to seek justice. These are some of the very, very important topics for your UPSC examination. And how beautiful to listen from a bureaucrat who has been in the governance for nearly a decade. So I request you to open our website, open our YouTube channel and register yourself so that you get access to this insightful conversation from none other than Dr. Jay Prakash Narayan. On this note, I'll call it a wrap to today's DNA session. Before we wrap the session, I request you to please hit the like, share and subscribe Narayana. Thank you so much for watching.